Hey, Gary here. Don, what's going on? Hey, we've got Tesla earnings out today. Missing on the top, missing on the bottom. We got Google coming out on Thursday, along with several others. So, earnings. And then we've got lots more big tech earnings coming up. And here we go. Let's go. It's always an adventure around here. Hey, Pat. Wrongimer. Our local Tesla employee is traveling back from Europe right in the midst of Tesla earnings. Lucky him. He was like, man, I'm going to be sweating it till I get home. Hey, Sergio. Glad you're here. Glad everybody's here. And welcome to the show. We've got... I'm just kind of giving everybody a minute to get on the stream here. We've got like a whopping 20 people, looks like. And all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results, even though I try to predict things. It's kind of where I get my reputation, making epic predictions. Sometimes I get it wrong. Sometimes I get lucky. So, just because I got it right in the past doesn't mean I'll get it right in the future. This presentation here intended to be fun and entertaining. It's also informational, educational, but it's not a recommendation to be buying or selling anything in the market, including stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. Don't long them, don't short them, don't trade them. And if you desire personal financial advice, hire and consult a financial advisor, which is not me. I'm not playing one on YouTube, not pretending to try to tell you what to do. I'm not saying this and then turning around and saying, hey, if you want to make money, it's not what I'm doing. I talk about trades, but it's all for, informational, educational, and fun and entertainment. I'm not trying to tell you or convince you to take any trade at all. Just keep it in mind. So Tesla earnings coming out and the market is pretty flat. Now, their call is coming up here in a little bit. And if we go to the Tesla investors relations page right here, they've got their call set up. I think it starts at 5:30 Eastern time, 4:30 Central, maybe. Anyway, if we popped it up, we could, listen and participate if we wanted to. Yeah, 5:30. So that'll be coming up, and they're doing something they've never done before, which is having a company update and updating on things that are developing. Now, in the financial statement they already released, they said that new affordable models are still on pace for introduction in the first half of 2025. So that leaves a week of April, May, and June for that new model, new car, new affordable model to come out to the public. So I think that's why the stock didn't really move right there. Just kind of holding fast right where we are. We'll look at the extended hours. We got a little bit of range. We were as high. Yeah, I know it's not super easy to see that gray, but there was the high and there was the low on that first 15-minute candle. And then we've just kind of been in this little pocket of blob right here ever since. Just kind of sitting right where we were all day, basically. So, not much so far. That's completely fine with me. We don't have to take a trip down to support. I vote no. I mean, I don't need price to go down again. This can be fine. We can go up from here. Completely a-okay with me. I had $175 strike calls sold, or puts. I mean, 175 strike puts sold against it. If price suddenly drops down there by this Friday, I will be the proud owner of 100 shares at 175. If we stay up here, cool. We can do that. That's fine with me too. I may come back in here a little more aggressively next week, but see what happens. I'm expecting it to hold above this 180 area and take off. As they, yeah. We'll see what happens. we'll see what happens. There are castings out in Texas. There's piles and piles of castings that don't match any current production car. So something they're gonna make. Maybe Cybercab, maybe something else. There are tons of castings laying around in the parking lot down there in Texas that don't match any current car. So something's coming. Something's happening. So we'll see what happens. We'll see, as they say. Now, Google. I have two batches of puts sold. I have 141 strike, which is right at the low right there. And then I also have 133 strike, which is way on down here. I don't really expect Google to go down much, but if it does, I expect it to find support here, right around 132, and go higher from there. So very, very similar to Tesla. I'm kind of bullish on, the way I look at this, we're just back testing the breakouts. We had this big breakout from back here. We're just back testing it a little bit. Very classic. We see this kind of price action occur, and then we run off and leave it behind. So that's what I'm expecting it to happen on Google. Possibly we could go a little deeper. It's possible. That's very much looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a wave 2 retrace, a little deeper than the wave 4. Could bottom in the vicinity of this 4. I think it looks legit. Hold support here and go higher. That's what I see on Google right now. All right. Put me back on this side so I'm less in the way of all the details over here. So Google's earnings are Thursday. Right there. Right there. See what happens on Google. So, yeah, I'm not really gonna play the webcast while we're live, so I'll just close that stuff out. That's cool. All right. Hey, if you want to see how we're doing, this is my all-time account history here. If you wanted to see the current, there's no current trades that have been closed. This is my 50K challenge right here. Introduced this last week. Haven't really made any trades that have closed out. I did do that Tesla put. I did a Google put. I did some puts on some other stuff. Delta Airlines, Southwest Airlines, Oracle. Got all those trades. If you want to know the exact trades, when I place them, you got to be a Termite Trading Lab member. Otherwise, you can follow along right here. They'll show up as I close them. One of the big things for KInfo is they do not want anybody copying trades because that's dangerous, right? So all this will be available right here on KInfo as it happens. Right now, I've got no closed trades. I do have some open trades. As you can see, nothing for the last month, nothing for the last 3 months, nothing for the last year in this account. All-time history. This is a account I was using back in COVID. So you look at this. This is October 13th, like 2021, probably. So it's been a few years since I've messed around in this account. A couple people are looking at it like, whoa, you got some losses. Yeah, that's from several years back. That's not current. I haven't used this account in a while. But I just put like $85,000 in there and getting started. Gonna try. The goal is to turn this account around to make $50,000 a month in reliable trading profit income. And if you want to see how I do it, follow along. The link's right here. And share in the chat if you're interested. You want to follow along. Copy it, throw it in the chat right there. I do share some of the trades inside, or some of the details and information inside the channel membership. I can share more as I go along. Part of the stipulation of having channel memberships with the company was I cannot share trade alerts, so they're not trade alerts, just updates on what's going on as it happens. So if you want, it's like screenshots of this, screenshots of that, be posted in there, but they aren't trade alerts. All right, that's only for Termite Trading Lab members in Discord. So there you go. Any questions? It's gonna be a slog. It's gonna take a while. This is not going to be fast. It's not going to be easy. And it's a different mindset. So people are wondering. I thought I'd just start here. People are like, "Why are you doing this?" It's like, so I've always had my money in IRAs, right? It's kind of been the whole, early on, good, bad, or ugly. I didn't grow up with making a lot of money. I didn't grow up in a family that had a lot of money. One of the goals was to prepare yourself for retirement. And, I've never worked anywhere. It's funny, the publisher is the first place I've worked that had a 401k. I've never worked for anybody else ever in my life that offered a 401k. So I don't have any retirement except what I've built up in my own IRAs. I've always, even through COVID, I was trading in IRAs. So that whole big, turned $250,000 into 1.4 million. It was all in IRAs. I don't know how much everybody knows about IRAs, but when you're a relatively young guy, IRAs are, pretty much useless for paying for any bills. So, especially in the United States here, it's like, yeah, you could take a whatever 15% hit plus pay the taxes on it. No, thank you. I mean, you take a penalty, 15% penalty plus get to pay the taxes on it, and it's like by the time you do that, what's the point? So that money just sitting there until someday down the road when I retire or pass it on to whoever, and we'll see. But the side effect is that I don't have taxable income I make in trading. And a lot of people have been like, well, you must make a killing knowing how to trade. That's never been my goal, though, is to produce income through trading. It's always been my goal to produce retirement savings through trading. It's just a different mindset. So now, in the ups and downs of the guru world, this year, first 4 months of this year, I haven't made jack squat being a guru. YouTube has been nice to me, but the company haven't really made jack squat. In fact, I was negative money in March, which, I get paid March's revenue in April. So in April, I'm getting to pay the government and getting to pay the company for the pleasure of working for everybody. It's super awesome. And, when I was looking at trying to stabilize my finances, I was like, it might behoove me to, I had a guru friend of mine, another, I'm in the business. I talk to other gurus. I have a mentor that, has helped me along the way be the awesome sharing type of person I am. And he asked me some hard questions like, why don't you make reliable income from trading? I was like, well, because I got all my money in IRAs. He's like, well, why don't you build taxable accounts and actually trade profitably in them? I was like, well, I mean, the goal for me is to not have a bunch of taxable income. And he's like, well, if you need taxable income, and why don't you build a stable, reliable income so you don't have to worry about the ups and downs of being a guru? And I was just like, light bulb moment. Like I hadn't thought to do that. Like it just never had crossed my mind to do that. I was sitting here paying down debt, and just wiping, getting my house in order, setting up IRAs, putting as much money toward that as I possibly can. There's different options available when you're self-employed, which is kind of the way this guru business works. And so I built a self-employed retirement account that I was pumping money into, and I was just, getting rid of income. And instead of putting it over, instead of building this other thing that can get me through lean times. So it's a different mindset. All right. Like I've never had this kind of resource to be able to do this. So right now I've taken $85,000 and I've put it into this Robinhood account, turned on Robinhood Gold, which the interest in 1 week on $85,000 has already covered 1 year of Robinhood Gold plus some. I was pretty amazed at that. So it costs $50 a year for Robinhood Gold. It pays a 4% on uninvested cash. So this $85,000, funny enough, when you do credit trades, which are selling puts, they hold collateral, but they don't take it out of your cash balance at Robinhood. So they pay you the 4% on the cash balance that's held as collateral. So I've made almost $62 already in the last week on that cash collateral right there. So next week, we're going to see a whole bunch of trades pop in here, more than likely as they close out. With any luck, we'll have Tesla, Google, Oracle, Delta Airlines, and Southwest Airlines all pop in here, and we're on the journey. We're on the path. Right now, my goal about 1% return on capital used per week, and that roughly compounded every week should get me somewhere around 50% return per year. That's kind of my goal. Now, as I come up with money to be able to pump into this account, I'll pump it up with cash by working, by doing this guru thing I do, by doing this thing on YouTube, by doing all the things I do to bring in income. I have multiple sources of revenue, pull them in as much as I can, lean and mean, and pump it into this account. So I'm going to do that, and you'll watch it grow. Right now, it's got $85,000. Most of it I actually borrowed temporarily for 6 months to get started. I'll have to pay that back in 6 months, and we'll see what happens. So right now I have a temporary funding, and I'm trying to get started. So I always say, don't use money you borrow to trade. Well, my back's against the wall. I got to get started somewhere. So that's what I did. I borrowed money. Actually, I borrowed money for myself. I've got to pay it back. It's a 6-month temporary loan, and that money will have to be used. So there we go. That's the plan. Any questions? Let me know in the chat. But hopefully that kind of kicks it off for everybody. Like, hopefully you're up to speed on why and what and how. I was gonna make a video about it, but I'm not super fond of making long form videos and uploading them anymore. I love doing live streams because I can talk to y'all and you can ask questions and I can answer them. So that's kind of the long and short story behind why this, why now, why didn't I do that before? Just never thought of doing it before. And yeah, I welcome everybody to come along. And like I said, you can follow along right there. You just click the link. You don't have to pay. It doesn't cost you anything to join and follow it. It's free to follow. And like I said, there's no current trades at all. 1 month, 3 months, 1 year. Haven't made any all time. This account is negative $500. The last trade I did was Dogecoin, lost $61. The majority of that I lost on an EWZ call during COVID. So I share the credit. They're not credit spread trades. They are credit trades, but they're not credit spread trades. And I share them to Term Market Trading Lab members. That's my VIP all access members. There's no alert service for it. There's no nothing. It's just a perk of being a Term Market Trading Lab member. If you don't know what Term Market Trading Lab is, it's my all access members. And you have to apply to be part of that. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. So anyway, we'll see what happens. We shall see what happens. All right, moving on. So that's that. I'm working on that, building it up. I figure, why 50,000? Why is that my goal? 50,000 a month, reliable income. That's, roughly what I averaged for a period of time last year. And it allowed me to solve a lot of problems for family and friends and things that we had going on in our life and not have to worry about things. And, I helped all sorts of people in my family and friends. I didn't just stop at family. I helped friends do things, and it just solved a lot of problems for everybody. It made everybody's life easier. Everybody was a lot happier. A lot of good things happened. So I'm like, well, that seems like a good number to shoot for. So that's the goal, and I meet that goal when this shows that I've hit 6 months in a row with $50,000 profit. When I can click back through here and look at the last 6 months, and we've got $50,000 each month, 6 months. So there you go. That's it. That's why. Why the number? Why the amount? I'll probably be happy with way less than that, but you'll be along for the ride. I'll be working on it until I get to $50,000 a month for 6 months, and I'll probably keep going after that. So there you go. Follow along. All right. Moving on. I got lots of plans. Like, there's not just, it's like, what strategy are you using? The oldest strategy I've ever done, which is buying stock and selling calls against it. But I've got a whole different twist. And, you know, some people know it as the wheel strategy. I've still got a different twist on the wheel than most people, the way they do it. So it's just a different thing. And as I get more confident in what I'm doing and get more reliable in what I've done, I'll share more details. But right now, it's just the beginning. So probably go on for 5 years maybe till I get my goal. That's what I'm thinking. You know, people tend to overestimate what they can get done in a year. So I don't really think I can do it in a year. But people tend to underestimate what can happen in 5 years. So I think within 5 years, I could probably hit the goal. That's kind of where I think I'm at right now. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. So Google right there. We're looking for that to break out and head higher. Other Mag 7s, you know, the market added $1.4 trillion to its market cap today on this little rally. And Google reports earnings this week. Apple reports earnings next week. And we're under resistance. Potentially we bottomed here. Pulled back, bottomed here, and set to retest upside resistance, which just happens to be where the 618 and the roadmap line are together. If we can break through that, upside. This one, not bad. I may play this one next week with puts, depending on how it shakes out. I did play, not in the Robinhood account, but I did play puts on this one. Same style, same way. I think I actually got all the way down to like 130, or maybe it was 127 when we were dipping last week. I was cashed out really quickly on the rip. Come out of that. That's pretty cool. I've done like 12 of these trades in a row. If you want, you know, a selection of these type of trades will be put in the bonus trades for green light income alerts. The system where I've won, you know, the green light income alert core is not changing. I've won 86 trades in a row. I know how to win trades and not take losses. It's usually very capital intensive, and that's the same thing that's going to happen in this Robinhood account. It will be capital intensive. They're higher likelihood to win. It does take a lot of cash to work them. I do this stuff in retirement accounts for my parents quite a bit. It's just not interesting. It's not glorious. It's not big returns. It's like 1% a week. A lot of you have told me you don't like 1% a week. So I don't put that kind of stuff out because nobody seems to want to buy stuff like that. It's not been what anybody wanted to buy from JT. I know how to make bigger wins, but they're not 100%. You know, I can't win 100% of the time. Things that take a lot of cash to, you know, plunk down a lot of cash, I can win 100% of the time, but it only makes like 1% a week. You do the math, you know, 1% a week, you go through 52 weeks. I mean, that's like 52% a year. So now you're starting to see like, hey, I understand where the 50% gain came from that he's thinking about. So 50% return on cash. I may hit 60%. We'll see. Could be even more. Could be less. Could be as low as 40%. So, yeah. I mean, it's my goal. So, I'm this is not something I just came up with last weekend when I posted about it. I've actually been in process of figuring out how to do this and what I was going to do for like a month and a half. It's been like, my friend asked me some hard questions, you know, and I really had to meditate and soul search on it and figure out what I was going to do. Like, what do I really want out of what this is? And I figured, you know, the side effect, when you all watch me make money, I mean, what better way is there than watching somebody that makes money and you can go verify all their trades? I mean, right here, I'm not hiding a single dang trade. Like the reason that you can see my all-time account history, I'm not going to hide it. I didn't open a brand new account. It's so you can see the whole, you know, I used to play in this account. So it's all there. Nothing's going to be hidden. There is you know, KInfo does offer an ability to hide trades, but I'm not going to hide a single darn trade. Everything will be here. They'll all be public as they close. So you'll be able to follow along. All right. It's too vastly different from Echo Trades. It's not even the same kind of trade at all as Echo Trades. It's not even the same kind of trade as Greenlight income alerts. It's offered as a bonus, occasionally a bonus trade. I'll throw out one or two. But Termite Trading Lab members are the ones that get all the... We've had a lot of conversation about what I'm doing so far. And the plan's not solid, so it's flexible. It's in development. I know some of you are like, well, I want to know. Termite Trading Lab, that's the way you get it. I mean, that's the answer. If you want all the trades, you want to know what I'm doing, I post it even down to the number of contracts that I put at each position, the dollar amount I was up today. I mean, I share a lot. So anyway, ES, looking for this to reverse off the lows. We did bounce off the weekly roadmap line. If we can get through this downtrend, we do potentially have this high, this low, that 618 right there, 5,600 level. If we bounce up there, watch out. Need to get through that and head higher. That's what we need to do. This is still a potential. That's still a potential, but we got to get through this danger zone to get there. So 5,600, important level. I've been talking 5,600, 5,680, 5,800, 56 to 5,800. That's the important level right there. Got to get through it to go up to the targets. I think we'll bounce and do it. The scary thing, though, as I've been looking back through it, back through the years, roll back up, look at SPX as we look back through here. COVID did this pullback, that ramp, and that big drop. That looks familiar. Looks a lot like what we just did right there. Roll on back. Now right here in 2015, we did a pullback, ramped back up, and did another dip. Rolling on back. Back here in 2007, we did this big pullback right here. Doesn't look as big on this, but it was nice and big. 12%, came back up to the all-time high, and then went off the cliff. It depends on which, whether you have log on or not log on. And a crazy thing over here, we did one right back here, 23%, ripped back up to highs, came back with a vengeance, topped out right there, and then went down, back down again, and even further. So I think this may, like, if we go ripping back up, we may be in the prelude to a bigger downtrend here. The 50% pullback. That's what scares me about the current pullback, is that it might just be a prelude for a bigger pullback that takes us down 50% or more. And that could be something like this from that upper level. 3,700. Could even get something bigger. 56. I mean, you'd be looking at 2,000. 1 to 2,000, maybe even 3,000. Somewhere in there. Probably where we might bottom out. It's got me a little nervous. So if we go back higher, hit that 6,600 late this year, that might be what we have to look forward to in the next couple of years. Ouch. That'd be pretty rough. So, alrighty. Moving on. In Q, looking for the same kind of bounce, same kind of resistance at that 618 level right there. Watch out for that zone. If we get through it, look for the upside. If we bounce off of it, watching for the downside. Russell is already down here. It might extend lower here. So this is a cautionary chart. This is a whole different thing. We could bounce up, find resistance at the 618, but this is already busted through, well through the weekly. Working on something deeper. Working on that bigger, probably monthly chart correction. I don't think the RTY has been going under the same ticker for long enough. Here's the monthly chart on RUT. So we might be working on coming back down to test that right there on the Russell. Bounced right here, came up strong. So looks like a big 3-wave correction though. If that's the case, here's the high, here's the low, here's the high. We could be looking at something down here, possibly in the 1200 area by the time this finishes up. I mean, we could get a little bump and an extension and a bump and an extension before we wrap that up. And that could develop into something bigger. Like that could have a little topping action going on, and this could correct all the way back down in the triple digits. That'd be pretty rough on Russell. You see how we bottomed once, 2, 3, 4 times in there? We did if that's the low that we moved up off of right here, come back to a 618 retrace, be talking like 700. That'd be some rough numbers on Russell there. But maybe we just come back down to the 900 level. You know, we did this like once, twice, 3 times right there, and 4 if you count that little baby one right there. We did that kind of like that one right there, that one right there, that one right there. Maybe we have to come down there a 4th time. Before we go up again. These chart patterns have a habit of repeating themselves right there. Oil. Bum, ba, bum, ba, bum. Here's the big negative from COVID times. Zoom her up. Look at the current chart. And the monthly chart, we dipped into the target. Daily charts, chopped around here. Got some big draws on the late crude numbers today. Didn't really push it anywhere. Still just sitting in the range. Drifting a little bit higher. Sitting under that resistance zone. We might dip one more time. Might need a dip down to this bigger target right down here at 50 before we can call this the bottom. I've speculated for a few weeks now that if we get something like that, it might kick off a hot war in the Middle East. Wouldn't that be fun? Fun and exciting and different. Yeah, sarcastic. European crude and West Texas Intermediate crude are kind of aligned. They both made the lower low at this point. For a while there, I was like, yeah, Brent made a lower low, but West Texas crude did not. But this last spike down right here from last Monday, 2 weeks back, finally got there. Gasoline, 3-wave correction. If we break out through the roadmap line, probably heading up here. Something to watch out for. We start breaking out, get through the 618. Just sitting right on top of the roadmap line. We get through that level, probably kicking off the bigger rally right up in here. That could hurt. That, nothing affects higher prices, inflation, CPI faster than rising gasoline and diesel fuel prices. Speaking of diesel fuel, that one bottomed out, just like oil did. Gasoline being the oddball out here did not make a lower low. Like gasoline did not make a lower low. Like oil, both CL and Brent, West Texas Brent, which is European oil, and heating oil all made a lower low here on the 7th, but gasoline did not. So everybody says, oh, these are super correlated. Well, gasoline is doing its own thing right now. Something different. It's the outlier on a different path. It'll probably resolve the path at some point. This looks like 5 down on heating oil. So is that the final 5 down? And we reverse. Only time will tell. We're going to have to break out through these highs right here. These 2 prior highs, lower, and set up the bigger move. We have the bigger 618 level right there at that prior high. If we complete the echo down, we might drift on down here to $1.60 before we find the bottom. So that's the question, like, is this complete, or do we need to finish the echo in price down to this level around 155 on heating oil / diesel fuel? Natural gas hit my alert today that we are getting close to a bottom. Anybody that was doubting that we would push on down, guess what? Here we are, getting close. Getting close. Cold, rallying up almost to the roadmap line. We went way deeper than I thought. I thought we would just go from here, but nope. We took a trip down here. Now we're coming back up right there. Time is the hardest part of this whole thing. So, GC. There you go. That's topping action. 35.18. That was potentially the top. Watch out for the big drop back to the roadmap line. I know I've kind of been a parrot, but I actually took shorts on this today. I did a put spread on put debit spread on ugly. I don't, be careful on leverage. I always talk about playing option leverage on options on leverage is super dangerous. That's super dangerous. I did a 135 long put and a 105 short put. $30 spread. Looking for that to come right back down. I like that. Might take a little while, but I think it's cranking back down. I also bought some shares of this. Much more reasonable way to play. $10 risk per share. Could it go to 0? I mean, you can put your stop here. You can risk a couple bucks if you wanted to. You can risk down to 10 if you wanted to. Risk $1. And the goal, easy target right here. Bounce back to the roadmap line. That's all we're looking for. Ultra is leverage. Be careful. Substantial risk. You can just buy shares though. $10 a share. Potentially make 50% return right there. Not too shabby. Certainly cheaper to play that than it is to... the cost to get into one ugly was quite high. Could have bought quite a few shares of this for that kind of money. Silver. Still hovering. Like we held up pretty well today for topping it. But we're not broken out. Like, look at gold. Gold's up here. Silver's down here. Gold may need to pull back, and these two align. Silver may pull back down here. Gold may pull back. They kind of set up the same sort of pullback, and then we go shooting off with both of them. I don't think the move on gold is done until silver catches up. So when's gold finito? Finito, benito. Done. When this one makes an epic move. Targets right now for silver up here in $60 land. possibly $70 land, and it may get crazy. It may go crazy numbers. So when this pops up here, gold's done, like dunzo. I think the gold is going to pull back. Silver may pull back also. Once they both do that, we set up for the next move higher. That's what I think's happening right now. Now, gold may not pull back. It's possible. But that move was straight up exponential. It will not surprise me one bit to see people get ripped. I mean, I've seen, there's been people that I work with. They're like telling everybody in the background, buy gold, doesn't matter what it does, buy gold, we're going higher. So be careful. What's the yellow line? The roadmap line. That's my favorite indicator. I went through it this morning on Morning Monster, the live stream this morning, how it works. And you can click the link right under me, channel homepage. The video pin to the channel gives you the code for that line for free. Explains how it works. Takes you through what I'm looking for, how the pattern works. Or you can watch the Morning Monster this morning. I didn't show off the code, but I did explain how it works. And if you're like, I don't want to code it myself, that sounds difficult. I'm an old dog. I don't want to learn new tricks. That's cool. Down in the description, where you click the more button under the video, for $5, literally $5, I give you an easy button. You just click it and put it right on the chart. That's it. $5. Silver, like I said, looking for that pullback. Copper, interesting move. Interesting move. Was that a bounce? And we're about to break out. Go cruising on higher, potentially even up to 6. Or is this a fake out and we get the bigger pullback? Can't say with a high probability. This target is still sitting down here, untouched, unvisited. And that was a swift pullback, and this is very overlapping at this point. It's not a progressive, like higher high, higher low situation in a normal proportion. This is very flat. Easily we could do that right there. Very cautious. Now, if the market's going to break out higher, this may go up here, but then break. I'm not playing copper. It's not reliable enough. There's not a firm enough pattern present. And the one that does look spicy, delicious. I've got a lot of money on this for those of you that know. A lot of my money. Been banking on this breakout. We're like a month later over here. Thought we were going to do it from right over here. Nope, we took another trip lower. And now we're working on the breakout. So I thought we had done this. I thought this low right here was what turned out to be this low right here. I thought this was good enough. Nope, we had to go just a little deeper. Push people just past their limits. Now we're working on the breakouts. We'll probably see it rally back up to retest where we topped out in December and January. See how solid this resistance was. Probably go retest that. We tested it once, twice, kind of 3 times, 4 times with a whole bunch of extra. Then 5th time, then we rejected. Now we're coming back up. We'll probably test it, maybe retrace back down to the roadmap line here and go cruising on up. The target hasn't changed, remains intact up here between 150 and 170. 150 on the low end, 170 on the high end, and don't really expect much more than that. Something could change and we could go higher. Always possible. The extension target is up here around 300. But the more realistic, probably going to stop there, target between 150 and 170. I'm going to be liquidating pretty much all my crypto. Because I don't want to hold it through the next crypto winter. Because we're going to have another... Winter is coming. And doesn't matter what anybody says on Twitter. We're going to pull it back another 70%. Probably back down in the $30,000 to $50,000 area. It's just probably going to happen. More than likely, it's going to happen. It's happening, sweetheart. So we'll probably get that big pullback after we top out. Ethereum can't get itself off the floor. Got a little bit of move today, but that's not, it's not what I needed. I need it to be above this, back out of this orange box. And we're not even making it up through the last consolidation at all. Like, we're not even retesting it yet. This has no participation so far. We've got to see some bullish stuff. We've got to get through that roadmap line. We've got to get through the downtrend highs. We've got to get through this whole gobbledygook and start making some upside moves. Break back above that high we set in December. I mean, look at this. This is beat down compared to Bitcoin. This is like, Bitcoin just did a little dip. I mean, if this chart were the same as Bitcoin, we'd be up here, hanging out right in here. But no, we're down here, way far away. And if this were Bitcoin, we would have been up at higher highs. And this is the danger here. This was a lower high than the high we made back in 2021. And this could be a bigger correction that takes us on down here. So be very, 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 very careful getting exposure to this, because it could decide to go down here. Make a lower low than that low right back here in 2022. It does not have to participate this crypto cycle. I warned about that on Friday quite extensively. All right. It's that time of the day where I do request for at least 30 minutes. Priority goes to channel members. If your name is in green, you get the priority. And ready, set, go. Please use all capitals. Write your ticker. If you one request per person per go. Wait till some other people go, and you can go again. Needs to be a ticker I can type in. If I can't find it easily, I'm going to skip it. So if you request a bunch of stuff, I'll skip you. Coinbase, potentially reversing. Nothing really changed since this morning when we talked about this. I mean, that's supports. We came back to it. That's the big pullback. You've got the 618 hanging out right up here. Got to break through it to set up the upside. Upside potential right up here, 600. But at this point, we've got a long way to go. It did not move much off those lows. There's the resistance, 254. And if we pop up there and stop, dead cold, start back down, this thing can go way down here. Be careful. Apple, I'm going to hit all the channel members first, and I'll come back and get everybody else. So, all my subscribers. So, paying members. It's a perk of being a paying channel supporter member. Apple, hanging out. Resistance right there. Support down here. As long as we're in the middle, probably sideways. So, until we break out, nothing. Sorry. And BKSY. Black Sky Technology looks like a sideways dumpster fire. So rejected off of that. There's the low, there's the high. We got below the 618, so this is probably going down. Down, down, down. It's got a reverse split in there too, doesn't it? Dumpster fire. Piece of garbage. Don't trade things. This is a giant warning sign. If you pull this up, you don't have, you're like, how do I know? Click on here and turn on the freaking splits. You go to settings, it's right up here. Come to the events tab under settings. Turn on freaking splits right there. When you see one of these right here, the little split icon, and you click on it, and it says 1 divided by something, and the number is bigger than 1 on the second number, don't trade that, all right? Don't trade that. That's called a reverse split. That means you had 8 shares, and now you've got 1 share. And we went through several of these this morning where there were like thousands of multipliers. These are pieces of garbage companies. They're likely to keep going to zero. Good companies don't ever reverse split. Just keep in mind. Even stuff like this. I won't trade this anymore because it has a reverse split. The piece of garbage. Like, they don't know how to manage share price if they do a reverse split. Period. End of story. Period. There's nothing else to add. So, commonly called a dumpster fire. GES holding support. It's a measure bounce. If you don't know what a measure bounce is, go watch the video this morning. Covered that one. This is the secondary pattern of the two patterns I watch. We're holding support, and that's the upside. If we get below, the line is down here, 650. Game's over. Get below that, probably not going to work out. Actually, I guess it's 585. Below 585, probably not going to work. As long as we're holding up here, still has the potential to go up here. That's it. That's the only update. Let's see. Amazon. Zoomer up, buttercup. Here's the support. Here's the resistance. Right there's resistance with the 618. Here's support. Could extend a little lower. It's quite possible. Watch out. Down here in the 150s. I've had this target on here for a good long time. We needed to retrace to the vicinity of this last correction right here. That little bit lowered would make me feel a lot better. And this would be a measured bounce on a non-log scale, which would set up the potential target to be all the way up here in like the 300 area, right up in here. Possibly even up even crazier. Those bigger numbers come from the log scale. If we went on a deeper retrace on a log scale, we could bounce even higher. Let's see what happens. SA Seabridge Gold. So most of your gold companies, all the good ones, are making highs. Like AEM, blasting off. Now, go look in here. More about the fund. Right there. Scroll down in here. You look at the holdings. NEM, not doing awesome. AEM, doing really awesome. Wheaton, doing pretty good. Barrick Mining, not doing so awesome. FNV, AU, doing all right. And you got the other ones. So playing in ones that aren't performing while gold is hitting like record highs. So it's like when we look at NEM, like NEM is underperforming and it's not likely to go catching up. It's not breaking out. It's not been doing the bullish thing. It's still at a lower high than we had just right back here in October. Still at a lower high. That's not good. AEM rocked it out. Wheaton rocked it out. AU rocked it out. Barrick Mining kind of sucking it up here. Not even close to all-time highs. So when you look at SA, it was SA, Seabridge Gold, it's not going to catch up. It's probably something's wrong with this company and their performance. With gold at all-time highs, they are not performing. Be careful. You didn't find a a gem in the rough that just hasn't hit it. So be careful. If something's wrong. If you went diving in, you might be able to figure it out. You might not. I just look at the charts. VDA was not a ticker. NVDA. Holding a 618 for the big up we got in the market today. This did not really participate. Downside is still down here. As long as we're under the roadmap line, under the 618. That's all the resistance right there. Here's the high that's important. Here's the low that's important. That 618 comes in right there. 123.84. It's a zone more than it is a fixed penny line in the sand. Fixed to the penny line in the sand. So resistance right in there. If we break down below this, this move up, run the fib line. That 618 is right there. That 786 is right there. We get below it, it's probably coming down here for an extension target. 70s. I've been talking about the 70s for what, a year? Even after I've been talking about it since before we made this higher high. That we're probably coming down here. Sooner or later. Looks like it was later, not sooner. Probably still coming down there. Eventually. But it looks like it might finally break out. It's been one high. Way more than one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be the 6th attempt to get through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jeez. I gave up on it back here somewhere. Got in back here. Waited through that whole correction. Should have got out. I was like, oh, it's just going to retrade. Oh, should have got out. Nope. Made a higher low. Yeah, I got out there. Pretty sure. Somewhere right there. Then it went on a bigger retrace. And I haven't looked at it since. Still has potential, but that double dip to that level, it's not quite the same anymore. Put it on the weekly charts. So this is what we're working through. We've got this initial move up. And we got a 618 retrace. And we moved up, stopped, retraced, reset. Barely a higher low. So we're still looking for it to break through this resistance to head up to 86 to 92 area. Let's see, it is still having a lot of work to do. And you can see that bigger 618 right there at 79. So there's probably going to be some sort of resistance there before we can get up to there. And if we can stick that, we may still retrace before we could pop up like that. So it's probably got some retraces, some big, nasty retraces to go before we can actually break out to big all-time highs. If it's going to do it. Right now, that's not reliable price action. I would kind of expect more of that to continue over actually doing that bullish stuff. That's blood for you. In a nutshell. Euro, dollar. So the big picture upside, possible 130, downside risk, 90 cents. We topped out right here, so be very, very careful. We actually hit that target that I drew right there. We may retest the roadmap line, and if we don't hold it, we may be heading down here. If we hold it, we may be popping up here. It's kind of the outlook for Euro USD. I expect a pullback. That's the next thing I expect to happen. AMD. Very similar chart. We got down to this level right here. I had been looking for a retrace to 95 for well over a year. We got there. Then we went a little deeper. That got me a little concerned. if we step across, and here's the kind of the line in the sand down here at 72, 73. If we step across that line, odds are we're going to go lower low than we made back here in 22. As long as we can hold above it and break through the downtrend of highs and the roadmap line and the 618 up here, which is quite far away compared to many like charts like Apple. So there's the roadmap line. Here's the 618 all the way up here at 150. Got to get above that to set the stage for going higher to 266. Could buy now. I'm not going to buy now. There's the market back open. Futures are back chooching. I don't plan on buying until a solid reversal shows up. I know I'm on the weekly chart, but, you know, at this point, that's a 618 retrace off the initial move up, 618 retrace. It didn't participate very much today. That concerns me. The AI bubble may burst, and we see this step across the line and go substantially lower. We might see that across a lot of the industry. Probably take NVIDIA down with it, so be careful. Right there. Be careful, be careful. All right, it's got that same move up, retrace, potential to go higher, but it's still in a downtrend. Resistance is still way up here. The 618 is still way up here. Be careful. It's part of a bigger downtrend. Bounced off that 618 and went down. Could be working on a reversal, but it also could extend down to 89. I wouldn't be putting my money on it right now. AEM I went through, ISRG. And still working on the correction. So we're looking for this to hold. I guess it reported earnings this evening. Beat on top, beat on the bottom. I was looking for it to hold this right here. Turn back higher. There's the resistance. There's the 618 right above it at 540. Get through that zone. We can set up the upside to 650. Till that occurs, still has potential to fail below 445 and get an extension down here in this orange box somewhere between 375 and 415 right there. So that's what we're looking for. There's the resistance. There's the immediate resistance right here that we've got to beat. Here's the supports that we need to hold. How do you know it's going higher? Well, it starts breaking above the mini 618 that you run from this high down to this low that I didn't draw yet. You would draw it from this high right there, 530, to this low right here. That 618 that shows up right there at 503, which is right at the roadmap line. Major resistance, like I already drew right there. Didn't have to draw the fib lines. Already knew that's where the resistance was. And then we've got this layer right on top of it. As you bust through and get to the target, we may experience a pullback before it can bust through. It's got some stuff to work through. A whole bunch of charts, built a whole bunch of stuff we're going to have to work through. The next move higher could be hard for a lot of charts. Be careful out there. All right. PLTR. As long as it's under the 618, we still have downside potential. If we can beat 618 zone, and we had 2 gap downs to get there. So it actually extends all the way up to 110 that we could pop up and still reject to the downside. Be careful. Gap downs are additional danger zones. If you're new here or you forgot why, think about it. Think about it this way. Gap downs. All right, somebody was buying. Somebody was buying right up into this. I'm going to remove all these little fib lines here so we can see it real clearly. Somebody was buying right up into that high, right? They were like, yeah, that little pullback, no big deal. Still people buying. Then it gapped down. No big deal. I'm going to buy more. Then it gapped down again. No big deal. I can buy some more. And it continues down. All right. Price comes back up. All right. We're going to I doubled down. We got back to that first gap. I'm just going to close it. I got my money back, right? That creates another drop. People that got in up here, oh snap. I'm going to double down. I'm going to buy some more. Starts back up again. Oh yeah, just want my money back. Just want my money back. Got up to the first gap. People started selling. If it gets up to the second gap, people probably sell again. They just want their money back. They just want to get back out of that trade. That was scary. Sat through that whole big correction. Now, gap ups, that doesn't work that way. All right. People don't sell into this drop and then wish they bought back in when it gaps away. Usually when you sell, you close it out and you don't look back at it. All right. You don't have any reminders of a big red in your account when it, goes ripping off without you. When this drops out, you're staring down, booking a loss. And you just want your money back. I just want my money back. It's a whole different psychology. That's why gap ups don't really provide support. But gap downs provide big resistance. We reject off of them a lot of times. All right? Think about it. It makes sense. Like it's just human psychology, right? I just want my money back. I've been there. I just want my money back. If I just get back my money, I'll be out. I'm not going to mess with it anymore. Learn my lesson. So watch out. That one still has potential to drop. We turned down that 618. First move down. Echoed off the 618 retrace. Puts us right down here. All it is first move down. Echoed right down here. UCO. Potential reversing. That just has to do with, I already went through oil quite a bit. So that's just oil chart leveraged. Inium was up, but it's not breaking out. So definitely be careful. And Trump will not fire Powell. That's not really news that matters to trading. AVGO. There's the resistance. Turn down. Finding support. If we can hold it, break back through the resistance. More resistance right on top of us. And then potential going up to two targets above 250, maybe up to 270. 4. If we break down below this area right in here, back below 147, watch out for the bottom of the box here around 125. MSTR. For the day that Bitcoin had, this did not have much of a day. Very cautious when we get to that 618 level. And we might turn down. Very cautious right there. 400 is a key level right there. We're going to have to break through that with some enthusiasm to get some upside going. And VG. Still working on the bounce. Nothing changed. Big picture, it's a big measured bounce. Big targets, potentially up here. Crazy big upside. I'd go for that number. I mean, you could go for that, but be willing to take something less. There'll be a 618 level somewhere in that vicinity. Probably around 190. Click. 150. 190 was the 786. Actually, the resistance is right there where the gap is. Big gap down right there. All the things I said about gaps applies right here. That'll be an important level, and it may reject off of there. There's another one right there. We're coming up into it, may reject off of it, come up here, reject off of it, come up through here, reject back. Before we can do that. All right, that's DG, Dollar General. Still trying to get out of the funk here. Hit the downside target. Working on initial move up. Not really much retrace. Not much participation in the market today. If AI struggles, if AI missteps, this will probably go lower low. If we can get AI to start recovering, got to break through this resistance to get moving higher. I wouldn't chase it right now. Just not me. Not for me. All right. Back to the top. Catch everybody. At this point, all the channel members, we've kind of hit everybody. And I'll catch you again at the bottom when I make it back to the bottom. You're just like regular channel members now. CVGW. Calvo Growers Incorporated. Commodities and milling. This looks like a rough chart. Wow. That's a downtrend for years and years and years. That's going to be the major resistance right in here. Right around 20, right around 30, I guess, right now. Major resistance. And kind of retesting the breakout, the original OG breakout here. Could hold that in breakouts, but I wouldn't be looking at anything until we moved up and retraced, held there, and started back up again. Because otherwise you can just sit through chop forever. Don't see much opportunity right there. Not for me. I mean, maybe you're looking for more downside, but it's not clear. I mean, it could be at support and it's just not going to move much. I mean, it could sit right here indefinitely and just kind of mess around for the next several years. There's several charts that just do that. See what I mean? That's pretty much gone nowhere for 20 years. Pull it all the way back to over here. I mean, it's kind of been in the same range for 30 years. Some stocks just don't do anything. They don't all have to move. SWK. Well, sometimes I get lucky. Shoot. I don't even believe that. Wow. Sergio. Sledge. Seriously. How did that happen? How did that happen? What the fudge? Oh man. I don't even know. Sometimes sometimes I don't even believe it. I don't even believe it. I don't even remember when I drew that either. Dang. Down on the downside? I don't know. Maybe. It's a 618 potential off of that low. I don't know if it's the low or not. It could be this low, and we might need a little lower. Might need to dip down to 47. There's the scary thing. Yeah. So all of that. That's the low. That's the current high. This might have to retrace all the way back down here to be able to bounce. And it might be able to stop right there. 20. I'll leave that on there just because I'm interested to know if it works now. That looks like a chart that might have some trouble. Who was it asking me about more charts that might have downside? Michael Cannon, Michael, one of the Michaels, Michael Economy, Michael Cannon. I don't know. Forget which one. One of y'all was asking me, and that one might have some downside. It's not as guaranteed, but we already did the high probability. SMMT. I don't have anything good to say about SWK right now. And Summit Therapeutics is biotech. Caution, I have a button for that because biotech is notoriously unreliable. Well, we eventually retraced the roadmap line. It just took a little bit longer than I thought we might. There's the high, there's the low. Maybe with that long consolidation, I just pass. I mean, maybe it goes up to 39. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know what they got cooking. Be careful if they got any kind of phase 3 drug trial thing going. They can just go like this, and you can wake up and they're like at $2 tomorrow. Be careful. That's there's a reason that I have a button for biotech, and it's because it's notoriously unreliable. And Food and Drug Administration could just announce stuff and completely change the game for that chart. It's one of the things that does affect. That's one news item that does affect a stock is any action by the Food and Drug Administration. That will affect the stock, and there's no predicting it. BA working on that reversal. It kind of wrecked the immediate upside potential, so I'm back to no man's land caution here. We could still get the pop, but I need it to break back above all of this consolidation. Break back above that, make a move up, retest it would be super awesome, and then go higher. Till we're back above that, I'm not really interested in Boeing. Snow did the 618 retrace and actually got down to a 786, came up, hit the downtrend of highs, retested back to a support zone, and we're just held in here today. I'm looking for this to hold this area right here, break through this downtrend of highs, break through that roadmap line, break through that downtrend of highs, and get continuation up here into the 220, 240, possibly even 300 area up here for snow. FRM. That is in a downtrend right now and has potential to extend down here. And IONQ is just parked on the roadmap line. More of that. There's resistance right there, 35. Target 62 if we can get above the resistance. And we could just park it in here. And if we extend to the downside, could come back to the lows, back down around 7. What that looks like. COSPA USD. This one, let's go to crypto. Looks pretty bad. We broke down. We're under the roadmap line. That's resistance. We get above that. Could turn around. Not looking too hot right now. That's potentially 5 down, a 3-wave up. Be careful for continuation lower. Yeah. Be careful on COSPA. Significant resistance right in the zone right there. And next up, Decker's Outdoors got slammed, punched in the mouth. Next support is down here. That's where I would expect that to go cruising down to. TMDX. There's the yeah. That's another medical specialty. Remember all that stuff I said about the Food and Drug Administration a minute ago, which just announced they're going to outlaw all food coloring additives. Large gap down right there. Major resistance. If that pops up, watch for a retrace, hold, and then pop through here. That would be bullish for continuation up here. If for some reason we turned down and broke down below here, we're probably going lower low, somewhere back down in the 39 area. Even with that, more than likely. Lower than this for certain, lower than 59. All right. CNQ. Yeah, be careful. That's been going, it's been in this zone for 3 years. Took a little diversion up and came right back down to the bottom. Yeah, I got nothing. Mora, maybe we can get out of this funk. We've not made a higher high yet. That's still cautionary. Roadmap line still here. 618 still here. It's got a lot of resistance. Danger. Danger, 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 danger. Till we can get above the resistance. We get above the resistance, things are going to get real spicy real fast. Opportunity to buy if you got the stomach for it. Stop out on a new low. Not joking. If you buy now, you want to stop out if we drop like that. If you've been in it, waiting for this to pop up, here's your zone right up in here. Got to get back above this $18 area to go higher. GE Veranova. Hanging out the roadmap line. Here's the resistance at 360. Here's the support down here at 250. Below the support, we're going down back to 170. Get through the resistance, 486. Pretty simple on that one. Take two. Interactive. So here's a tale of two patterns. Here's the upside targets. We barely missed that, and because of this super strong resistance at this prior high, we may need to take a diversion down before we can go up. May need to go retest this area right there one more time before we can go up. I don't like the way this is consolidated there for like 3 months, 4 months. Doesn't give me a great feeling that we're just blasting on out. SFM bounce down. Yeah, that's correction done. Moving on up. There's the high, there's the low. Here's the close above the 618. Sets the stage for 188 to 196 for that one. And MP. Choppy, choppy, choppy. We hit the target. Back to the, yeah. Looking for that to retrace, as I said the other day when we hit the target. Look for that to come back down so we can go again. There's the high. Potentially there's the low. If we don't hit this right here, you can look at a smaller time frame, but that 618 resistance zone right around 26 is still the same, and the upside is limited to right around 31 to 32, and there's still potential that we reject off of that and go on a bigger downtrend, bigger retrace. Say the right words. That first move down, that retrace, that second move down could take us down here if we got an echo type move. I'll be talking about a move down off of that high. Control, copy off of that, retrace. So that, you know, a big move down is the move. That's the retrace, and that would be continuation. And it would be the same size. Potentially take you down to this level. So be careful. On MP, I wouldn't be super up on it. So Marvell, Chips still has downside to potentially go. Here's the line in the sand, 40, 43.50-ish. If we get below that, downside is down here. If you think we can hold it, we got to get back through this resistance. It's a pretty major resistance. And then not only that, we have more resistance up here. Like the daily, we left the daily roadmap line and the 618 all the way up there. It's going to have to rally up through this resistance, make it back through this resistance right there to get the upside. And if we bounce down off any of that, that becomes the likely downside. BMO, Bank of Montreal. As long as we stay under the roadmap line, there's still potential to go deeper. First move down, retrace, potential to go down, even more. Move all the drawings. Here's the high, here's the low, there's the 618 right there. That's the zone you're concerned about right now. If we turn down off of that, we come down here. Fib-wise, that's the first move down off the resistance. Put us down here as a potential if we reject. If we can break through, upside potential right there. Groupon. I'll put MGRP in. I realized my mistake. And that's kind of topping out where we've topped out for a while now. Golly. Didn't retrace deep enough to be a measured bounce. I would have loved to have seen that, but this has been an important support resistance zone. I see how this was. We dropped, we found support, not support. Resistance. Maybe gonna retrace more. First move down, retrace. Next move down, could put it right down in here. Be careful. They don't make money. At least not consistently. A real hard time making money. Be careful on that one. SAIC. So we still got downside potential. Pushing on up through. We've got resistance all the way up to the 618 zone right up here. And that can still result in going lower. Get above that. Take it higher. Work. Just hanging with the homies. As long as we're above 62, this can still go higher. Just hanging out here, chilling out. And Hasbro hanging out at the support. No indication we're doing anything yet. Might go lower. Entirely possible. All right. Celsius. Still looking for that upside. I bought shares back here in November. Didn't do anything. I've been selling calls. I am up several dollars on call premium. Currently, I have 40 strike calls sold out to May 2nd. If I get called away, I make a few grand, and I'll probably sell puts to try to get back into it. That's the near-term target, the big picture target. 170 to 250. Hood hanging out right here. If we can break through that prior high, sets the upstage right up there. They're not all horrible. WPM. Already did that. I already talked about that. It's at highs. Watch for the pullback. There's no further upside. Watch for the pullback. All right, everybody. Caught up to the chat. Be careful out there. Have a great day, everybody. Same bad time, same bad channel, 9:15 tomorrow morning. We load it up, do it all again, look for what's moving, see how Tesla's reacting. Speaking of Tesla, let's go check on it. Must be good news they're talking about. Things are getting spicy. We're going to break through, going up here, test the resistance. Could be heading to 700 next. Be careful out there. Have a great day, everybody. We'll be back in the morning. Check out Tesla, check out what's happening. Do it all again. Another day in a long sequence of days.